Today we're going to be looking at a new case from Thermaltake. This is the Series 500 mid-tower. There's also a Series 300 if you want something a little bit smaller. The Series 300, but we'll cover that in another video. Also do a comparison as well in that one. You can get it in two different colours. It comes in black and white. We've got a black one here today. It's going to be about $145 or pounds, probably about the same the way conversions go nowadays. But let's get it open and take a look. Let's put this onto the right angle for you to see. You're going to take our cover off. There we go. So back panel, nothing really going on there. There's a kind of a cutout for the power supply. So I've got everything out that was rattling around in the bottom. It seems that this was used for something previously before it came to me, but obviously yours will be a fresh new one. So let's give you a little rundown. So as you can see from the front, this has got 60% of the whole case is just perforations. So there's going to be nice lots of airflow going through your system. There's also a couple of little bits that are included. Looks like we've got a graphics card sag bracket and also a little filter that's magnetic. There's a little demo of how the anti-sag bracket goes in if you want to use that. In our accessory box we've got all of our usual mounting screws and some zip ties. Also a buzzer in there as well if you want to have any post sounds when you turn your system on. Quite good for diagnosing. On the front of the case here you can see where the Thermaltake logo is. You've got some really nice solid metal. Goes all the way up through the top of the chassis. Nice perforations along the top, a couple of thumb screws to remove to actually access all of our fan mounts and things. It comes off away. Nicely filtered on the back as well. That just pulls out if you want to clean it. There we can see our support for our fan, so we can do up to 360mm radiator, two 140s, any combination that you fancy up there. Laying this flat so we can look at our internals. We've got a little latch to turn to open our side glass. You can also take this out when you get to a certain degree. We've got a separated design in this case, so the glass only covers down to the power supply. Nice bit of 3mm tempered glass on there. So on the back we can see we've got a pre-installed ARGB 140mm fan. If I lift this up you can see that we've got three 140mm fans pre-installed as well. Again, they're the same as the one in the back, so they're ARGB. Got the full daisy chain control on there as well. I really do like to see that they're the same front and back. It's a real pet peeve of mine to see ARGB in the front and then just a plain one in the back. Kind of bugs me. So to see uniform fans across the board and four of them as well is really good. So good job Thermaltake. So in the actual belly of the case we've got support for up to an e-atx motherboard. We've got some nice grommets on the side. There's not one at the top, which would be quite nice, but it's not going to matter too much when you've got your AIO and things in there. It's going to be covered over anyway. On the right hand side here we've got a little sled. You can just see on there it's stamped that you can put one 3.5-inch drive or then two hard drives or SSDs at a 2.5-inch. Nicely labelled on the screw holes what's going to go where as well. If I just angle this we can see a little support for a vertical mount for your graphics card. Now you can actually rotate all the PCI expansion brackets on the back of the case, so you don't have to buy a vertical mount kit. You just need the riser cable, which saves a lot of money because they're quite expensive to add into your case, so it's nice that it does come included. So let's talk about limitations for inside of the case. For your CPU towers you can do up to 185mm, and then for your big old chunky graphics cards this is the 4080 Strix, and you've got up to 425mm clearance, but if you are going to put a radiator in the front you've got up to 385. We've got a couple of removable panels at the bottom of this case. Turning that over we've got a dust filter, same for the other side as well. This magnetic one will go onto the back panel and just clip in like that. Means the case is fully filtered both sides, so it's going to be great if you're going to have your power supply with the fan side up. There is also a dust filter on the bottom though if you want to put it fan side down. Then taking off two small screws will allow me to take off this part of the bottom of the case, and you might wonder why would you want to do that, but Thermaltake actually offer an LCD screen that you can put in this part instead. That allows you to show real-time temperatures, GIFs, images, things like that right on the side of your case. You might have noticed on the right hand side of the case is where we're going to find our I/O for this one. A little bit different from most cases where you see them on the top or the front. There's a power button. We've also got some activity LEDs. You've got a USB Type-C, which is USB 3.2 Gen 2, two USB Type-A's, which are USB 3, a microphone headphone jack, and then we've also got a reset switch at the bottom. So taking off the front of the case, there's a couple of grippy sections at the front. Then you've got these little sections that the little knobbly bits just clip into. There you can see our three pre-installed 140mm fans. It's also on a bracket, so you can take this out and install your rads, fans and things, bring that all in one go rather than have to try and hold it all together and put screws through and things like that. So that does make life easy. And then because there's three 140mm fans, you can support a 420mm radiator in the front of the case. So on the back of the case we've got the pre-installed 140mm fan that I mentioned. We've got the 7 expansion brackets, and then you can see those screws to allow you to rotate that whole thing 90 degrees so you can go vertical mount obviously without the riser kit. Really do like that. And then on the bottom we have got our power supply mounting. You can fit up to 220mm PSU in this case. And then finally onto the back of the case, we've got a couple more of those sleds for your hard drive, so you can do a total of 5 3.5-inch drives or 8 2.5-inch. In terms of cable management, we've got some Velcro cable ties in the middle, so great for your chunky cables like your 24-pin. Around the outside there's some little cable clips, so for any fan power, RGB and things, they can all just clip under there. There's loads of zip tie points around the case as well, so there's some at the bottom and then some at the right hand side. And then there's also a clip at the very top for your EPS power cables to run through to the other side. Then of course right at the bottom we've got where our power supply will come through. The hard drive cage that I mentioned on the other side, you can obviously take that out if you don't want to use it. Then there's some holes underneath that you can run your USB headers, fan power, RGB and things like that up through. Maybe even your graphics card power as well. So loads of flexibility for cable management. Also those slates are handy for any like RGB controllers and things like that. Some of them can even screw into 2.5-inch drives. So if you don't use them for SSDs, you've got that option there as well. That was a look at the Thermaltake Ceres 500. A lot of case for the money. There's a lot of features in this thing, and I am actually pretty impressed with the first Thermaltake product that I've looked at. You've got the 4 pre-installed fans, ARGB as well, perforations everywhere, also filtered. Anywhere there's a possible intake, there's a filter there. Loads of SSD and hard drive support will make a great editing case. Actually, if you were to do RAID configurations and things like that, you can certainly cram a lot in. But yeah, actually pretty impressed for my first Thermaltake product. So let me know what you think about it in the comments box below. I'll add the links and things if you want to pick one up. Thank you for Thermaltake for sending this out for me to look at. Let me know what you want to see me do with this as well. I think we're going to have to use it for a build. But we've also got the Series 300 to look at as well. So get subscribed and ding the bell so don't miss that. That will come up very soon. And we'll do a bit of a comparison as well for anyone that wants to have this kind of quality but in a smaller form factor. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you all in the next one.